So many movies, no time to watch them all. But Twig wants to see them, so we gave Twig a call. Now they're bringing on their friends, and together they will view these. So sit back and relax. It's Twig's Missing Movies.
Hello, and welcome to Twigs Missing Movies, a show dedicated to watching the movies that Twig inexplicably hasn't seen. I'm your host, Dreyfrig, and here is our cinematically clueless crow, Corvus Twig.
Line.
You say hello.
Hello.
My name is Corvus Twig.
My name is Corvus Twig.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. I'm losing it, buddy. I'm losing it.
Do I just need to hand you the script?
Do
I just need to hand you the script?
So I have the script written on the bottom of this bag of popcorn, but I was eating too much popcorn, and then there was oil on my beak, and I accidentally wiped it across the script, and so the ink got all smudged. And
it was written in Sharpie.
Sharpie in the popcorn butter. It's spread. And the Sharpie was fresh. It's sorry. I mean. And also, it's just
you can just
look at the size of this popcorn
bad.
bucket. You wrote it in Sharpie? How did you write this small in Sharpie? That's impressive.
They have like the micro Sharpies.
That's true.
Look, you just need to know more about Sharpie, all right? Sharpie has a wide range of products from fat tip to fine tip, all right? And we don't judge where we get the tips from, you know?
Are we being sponsored by Sharpie this week? Because we better be getting paid for this plug.
No.
God, we gotta get some sponsors. We gotta get some.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
We'll do ad placements. Hey, people out there who do ads, we'll do ad placements in here. We're whores for money.
I mean, if the money's right.
We're ad whores for money.
I mean, we could do ads for Draken Insurance, but I'm pretty sure if we did that, that would just be that'd just be money laundering.
I own this place. I mean, you're not. Yeah, it's money laundering at that point.
Yeah, you're just trying to clean the money, clean the insurance money.
Clean money. Man, I wish I had money.
I know. My money would be nice.
One of the most disappointing things growing up is realizing just how many people don't have money. And you grow up your whole life, you're like, oh, all these adults have money because they inexplicably have all these nice things that I, as a child, cannot have. And then you come to find out that no one has money, and it's all made up.
Well, like the old thing I used to say, when I was younger, I had lots of time and lots of energy, but I didn't have any money. Now that I'm older, I don't have any time, I'm low on energy, and I also have no money.
I don't think that's how that phrase goes. I'll be real.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I have more money than I did when I was a kid. I mean,
It's fair.
But,
that's fair. I definitely have more money than when I was 10 years old. 10-year-old me had maybe like $10, and most of that money was going towards Yu-Gi-Oh packs, you know?
Yeah, I had that high school period where I spent a lot on Magic the Gathering. Thank God I got out of that before that got too dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
God, now I don't even recognize the game anymore. The Magic I played back in the late 90s, early 2000s, it's not the same game as it is now.
The way that I describe it is that it's a game that you pay a lot of money for to not play. Right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously I'm being hyperbolic here, right? Because, obviously there are people who play just casual games where any card goes, but, when you think about, high-end, tournament stuff, people pay a lot of money for cards.
Yeah.
And then they pay a lot of money for specific cards, so they don't have to play as many cards, so they don't have to play as long. You know?
Yeah.
It's funny to me. You pay to play less.
Yeah, and the people that buy all cards and buying constant things, it's just what percentage of cards do they buy that they never ever use?
Yeah, I know. At what point does it start to sting the wallet?
Oh. Roxanne, you have to put up a red light.
No, we're not talking about the
We're not talking about the lead singer of the Police. We're talking about Paul Newman and Robert Redford in Robert Shaw's movie The Sting.
from 1973, as chosen by our guest this week, Suzy the Silkie, longtime fan of the channel, longtime friend of ours, haver of chickens, lover of chickens, and is also a chicken themselves, a Silkie chicken.
Yeah, like full chicken.
Full chicken, full Monty. You know what I mean?
I mean,
It's gonna be
I think
important words
Suzy is the
later.
best chicken I've ever met.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Rodney.
Rodney, you can file a complaint to HR later.
No.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Who is HR? Is
Me.
your HR? Okay.
I'm HR.
Okay.
We're gonna have a very strongly worded conversation later where I beat the shit out of you with Rodney. All right, so this movie was released on December 25th, 1973. It had a budget of $5.5 million, which was a lot of money in then time, and had a box office reception of $257 million.
Wait, 257 after 5?
Yes. Yep.
Unfortunately, this movie was never profitable by Hollywood math.
By all the math in my investor shares, this movie sucks. We're never going to make anything like it again. Wrong, actually. This movie is probably one of the more influential movies for a particular type of genre that I can't give you too much away, because I don't know what you know about it, but we're not there at that discussion yet. Very well regarded, very highly regarded. Had a lot of big name actors for the time: Paul Newman, Robert Redford, Robert Shaw, Charles Durning, Ray Watson, Eileen Brennan, Harold Gould. The list goes on. It's quite a list of named actors from the time. Some of them were also unknown actors. Some of them, this was their breakthrough role. It was like a huge movie. It's just a huge movie for 1973, and in general for Hollywood, right?
Yeah, it's a movie. I mean, it's a movie from 1973 that I've heard of and heard referenced. So that means a lot.
This is actually kind of funny. As I was looking into the trivia of it earlier today during lunch. I guess Jack Nicholson was offered the lead role, and even at the time he was like, "Yeah, I could tell this was going to be huge," but also Chinatown and The Last Detail felt more interesting to me.
I gotta see Chinatown.
I want to live in the world where this movie had Jack Nicholson.
But I mean, Newman and Redford are iconic actors, so be interesting to see. Dreyfrick has disconnected. Dre?
Sorry about that, guys. For whatever reason, the rats on our walls decided to eat the Ethernet cable that connected my office to Twigs office.
No, let's be honest. A disgruntled Rodney unplugged the router.
I mean,
after what we said about that Suzy being the best, that it was.
I mean, you did cross the line, and as his HR representative, I'm going to tell you, he's not at fault for this.
Yep.
You deserve it.
Okay. Well, you're the one who disappeared, so.
Yeah. Well, it's not like we're recording this in my office. This is your office, so.
It's true. Anyway, Paul Newman and Robert Redford, how about them? They're not Jack Nicholson.
How about them? Not Jack Nicholson. It's just I forgot where I was. I'm sorry. Having to rewire an entire.
Well, we were talking about how Jack Nicholson could have been in this movie, and he decided to do Chinatown again. He said, "Forget it, Jake. I'm doing Chinatown."
Yep, and I was saying that I wanted to live in the universe where he was the lead in this movie. Because I really am curious what it would have been like. I think it would have been I don't think it would have been too different from how it was, because the actors do a really good job in this film. But there's part of it that's like maybe he would have brought a different je ne sais quoi to the role.
What about Paul Newman in The Shining?
Oh my god.
I don't think that would have worked as well.
Oh no, I don't think it would have worked as well, but that would have been funny. I mean, it's just such a a pinnacle movie. It was all shot on one of Universal's backlots, and only like one or two scenes shot outside of there. And one of them was in Wheeling, West Virginia. The other one was at Santa Monica's Carousel, at the Pier Carousel. And then I think there's Chicago Union Station, and then LaSalle Street Station as well. And then the rest of it, all one tiny backlot.
Okay.
And you're gonna be like, wow, that's bullshit. And you're gonna be like, wait, no, that is entirely one set.
Hey, those old set designers could really do a lot with a little. They
honestly, I would make an argument that modern set designers could do the same thing if they were given the budget and time to do so.
That's true.
Because, like, one of the things that I think people don't realize in the scope of making a movie, movies used to take a lot longer to film because you would have to wait for production to make sets, right?
Yeah, you couldn't just shoot in front of a green screen
and yeah, like green screen has eased up a lot of set design needs, and I think that's gonna be like, I mean, we're already kind of like that, right? Like we've already lost we thought we lost prosthetics, right? Like, you know, old prosthetics from like the 80s and 90s, but we brought that back kind of with the Star Wars movies, sort of. And more shows now are starting to include a little bit more real set design with real prosthetics into their movies and stuff like that because they realize that people like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's arguably also a lot cheaper.
Oh yeah, CGI is
paying 9 or 10 studios to do CGI things.
I mean,
like edit out a mustache on Superman.
I mean, we got stuff like Hunger Games last week where they had these wide shots of the Capitol that you're gonna obviously have to do with CGI. But
everything has its place in film and art, and I think there is definitely, when we're coming out of a period of time where, you know, the shiny new toy is starting to not feel so shiny. I hope
people appreciate authenticity, and even really as good as CGI's gotten, we can still tell. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to a classic movie. This is officially the oldest movie we've ever done on this, beating out Rocky Horror by a few years.
Okay, I just gotta talk real quick about the rewards before we start talking about it in full. Okay.
Okay.
This movie is a highly decorated movie. It has Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, Best Art Direction, Best Costume Design, Best Film Editing, Best Scoring, and all in the Academy Awards. American Cinema Editors for Best Editing, David D. Donatello Award for Best Foreign Actor, Directors Guild of America for Outstanding Directorial Movement, Best Motion Picture nomination for the Edgar Allan Poe Awards, Golden Globe nomination for Best Screenplay, Golden Screen Awards, Kinema Junpo Awards for Best Foreign Language Film, National Board of Review, Top 10 Films and Best Film, both won, National Film Preservation Board, National Film Registry inducted, People's Choice Awards, Favorite Motion Picture, Producers Guild of America, Hall of Fame Motion Picture, Writers Guild of America, Best Drama Written nomination.
So what you're telling me is it did not win an MTV Movie Award. Worthless.
And quote me if I'm wrong here, guys. I think this is our most decorated movie that we've reviewed on this show.
Probably. It's definitely our first Best Picture winner.
Yeah, I think that's true. That is true. Wait. Yeah, because the other ones were Teen Choice Awards. That's right.
Yeah.
Best favorite movie, yeah.
And this movie didn't win any Teen Choice Awards.
Well, the Teen Choice Awards weren't around. This was a period of time where films were starting to come out of the what I would like to call the Catholic guilt funk.
The Hays Code had not been gotten rid of for that long.
it was like newly gone or something like that. But it's just like, how do I say this? It's like it's still in this period of time where they're trying to get their paws back on what movies should be and like what you can do in a movie, right?
The 70s were a wild time.
Very much so. Oh man. But yeah, so okay. Tell me what you know about this film. Besides what I've just told you.
I know that it's about two like hucksters who got screwed over by a mob boss trying to organize a way to get back at that mob boss. That's about it.
Yeah.
I read the blurb. You know, I don't know. I think one of them, because I don't know if there's police, because I know like stings usually are like a police thing where you're like entrapping. It's not entrapping, but you know what I mean. It's like
but yeah.
it's trapping a criminal to get him. So I don't know if one of them is in law enforcement or not, but I don't think they are. I'm sure that there is a character who is in law enforcement, but I don't think Newman or Redford are going to be law enforcement. But hey, maybe that could be a prediction.
I mean, yeah, very valid.
But I say there's really not a lot. I don't know a whole lot about this movie. I read a blurb, and
I mean, okay. So I feel like this is going to be pretty standard form for an answer here. But why haven't you seen the film?
Because it came out 12 years before I was born, and because at no point in my life did anybody say, hey, we should watch this, and yeah.
I take it that your parents weren't big movie people.
No, not really. But I mean, it's not like I haven't seen a lot of movies from the 70s. Like, we talked about The Shining earlier, also One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Have you seen Chinatown?
I haven't seen Chinatown. Chinatown's actually a big one.
Wow.
Chinatown's a big one on my list.
That's on the list. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's the 70s were a great time for some very classic movies, I feel like. A lot of big name directors got like their foothold.
I mean, yeah.
The time.
I mean, Star Wars and Jaws were both the 70s.
Spielberg, we got Lucas, we've got I'm blanking on his name, but I can picture his
Scorsese started in the 70s.
Scorsese, 70s. Someone else did. A horror movie guy too, also started in the 70s.
Did Carpenter? You mean Carpenter? John Carpenter? I think his first movie.
I thought it was in the 80s, but I could be wrong.
I think he really hit. I think he first directed movies in the late 70s, but I think he really hit it big in the 80s. Because wasn't Halloween in the 70s? No,
it was the 70s. It was.
Yeah, Halloween was in the 70s. Yeah.
So I was right. It was John Carpenter. Yeah. Okay. For whatever reason, I thought it was like 1981 that Halloween came out. No. 1978 works. Yep. So John Carpenter too. Big break.
Yeah.
Big break movie. So what I'm saying is the golden age of film is gone and dead. We ever stopped dancing on its grave. This is a boomer joke.
What are you talking about? We have all the best movies this year, like Minecraft and The Winter Soldier or the Falcon is Captain America now, and Snow White.
Okay, but I feel like
those three movies have grossed more than every other movie this year combined.
Yeah, but that's because it's Disney and people just show up for those at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that Snow White has been considered a huge flop, even though it's the third highest grossing movie so far this year.
It's because the movie's like, okay, it's decent. It does the job that they needed to do, which is hold their copyright on the name Snow White. Most Disney movies almost always make their money back because enough people will take their kids to go see the movies, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what a lot of people I think forget about, is that a lot of these movies are not going to be catering towards your movie critic taste buds. They're going to be catering towards how digestible will this be for kids.
Yeah. Anyway, should we get on to predictions?
No, because I gotta tell everyone about good movies that came out this year. The Mika Who Can't Sing, go watch it. It's a great film. Sinners, I have yet to see it. I've only heard good things. My friend who doesn't ever see movies told me to go watch it.
Yeah, I gotta go see Sinners. Sinners is very high on my list. I want to go see it in theaters. Mickey 17 was amazing.
Mickey 17, I haven't seen that, but I'm gonna watch it this weekend. I think if I don't go see Sinners.
Paddington 3, pretty good.
Paddington 3. There are good movies. This was a joke. Okay, going on. Let's get to your predictions.
All right. Well, we already mentioned it earlier, so I'm going to predict neither of the main characters are a law enforcement officer. All right. So you talked about this having a big cast and a big, having a lot of people in it, and you said that it influenced a lot. My prediction, based off of what they're trying to do, I think there's one particular movie that became a movie series that this is a gigantic inspiration for. And that is a little movie called Ocean's 11.
Oh yeah, I mean,
So I think is it? I think it's maybe too much to put as a prediction that I think this is going to be a heist movie.
you can put whatever you want on your predictions.
I think the sting is so the titular sting is them putting together a heist to rip off a mob casino. You know, I'm not even going to say casino. I'm just going to say a mob business.
Okay.
I'm just going to say a mob business. That gives me a higher chance of being green. I'm going to say that one of the members of the crew is going to be an inside man with the mob. Okay. I'm going to predict that... This would be funny, you know? I almost wonder if we should start doing like a little extra segment on this as, will this movie pass the Bechdel test?
Probably not. I mean, it's the 1970s.
I'm going to go ahead and say this one is not going to pass the Bechdel test.
That can't be a prediction, Twig.
I know, but I think it would be funny to talk about in every episode from going on forward. I mean, Hunger Games, obviously I knew it was going to pass. I mean... But, let me see here. I'm gonna say at least one member of the crew dies during the heist. Because, you know, feels like that should happen. Okay, so with heist movies, I've heard this talked about on other movie podcasts and stuff like that, is that in a heist movie, there's two ways to do it. There's two ways to do a heist movie. And the first way is you tell the audience ahead of time what their plan is. And you know what the plan is, you know what they're going to go in, you know what they're going to have to do, and then during the heist, things go horribly wrong. And that makes a sentence like, so you know the plan goes awry, and you have to figure out how they're going to deal with the plan going wrong and the plan not working. The other way to do a heist movie is you do not tell the audience what the plan is. You keep them in the dark, and then you get to watch the heist as it's pulled off and learn how they did it as it happens. You know what I mean? You got to do it one of those two ways. And... I don't know. Do you think that's acceptable to guess which of the two ways they're going to do it? I
think that's acceptable because that's like the core principle of a heist movie, right? Is it show and tell or don't tell and then show, right?
Yeah.
And I'm very preferential to don't tell and then show, especially, you know, at the end when they're gloating in front of the you know, their mark.
Yeah, I'm going to say we don't learn how the heist is going down until we see it go down successfully. And I'm going to guess in the end they... okay, so I feel like the mob boss, who's like going to be the main antagonist, he's either going to die or get arrested at the end of it. I'm going to predict mob boss gets arrested and business shut down by the police.
Okay.
So not only going to rip him off, they're also going to expose him and, yeah, do all that.
Put him in jail.
Yeah. So these are my predictions. Who knows? Don't know much about this movie. Don't care if I get them wrong. I'm excited to see it.
I think you're going to really like this movie, I'll be honest.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to it. So I guess there's nothing left to do but watch it.
Yeah. So when we come back, guys, we'll have watched
The Sting.
I have beef with Bentai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that I think everybody just heard that you've had beef with Bentai.
Yeah, guys, welcome into the show.
Yeah.
This is actually the roast of everyone's favorite Kowtar thingy.
Dre, don't have a cow over this.
I'm not.
Oh.
It's just...
Look, I think we need to move on.
Yeah, welcome in, everybody. How's everyone's Sunday going? This is Twig. You know who I am, and this is our guest, Suzy the Silkie. Suzy, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Hello. My name's Suzy. I'm a fluffy, silky chicken that has fluffy, silky chickens. Bird enthusiast, as we all are here. I feel like that's a prerequisite for being here. Gotta be a bird enthusiast.
I mean, you have to at least have a positive attitude towards birds. There's some guests we've had that I would say are very enthusiastic about birds, but yeah,
it's not mandatory, but you have to have at least a little bit of tolerance.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be surrounded by 2 corvids the whole time you're on, so yeah.
I love corvids. Corvids do great.
They are great.
They make sure the hawks don't get my chickens.
Yes. Funny thing, yesterday I was out in the twilight hours, and it was still kind of light out, but the sun was down, and
twilight hours.
In my not that twilight, but from a tree, a couple houses down, I heard the unmistakable hooting of a great horned owl. Oh, and so I ran inside.
I love them so much.
I ran inside and I grabbed my camera because I wanted to get a picture of this owl. And I get outside just in time to see a flock of like a dozen small birds friggin' swarming this owl and attacking it, and then it leaping off the branch and flying away. Like,
that's so
a whole
sad.
Flock of little sparrows are like, no, we do not want you nearby. And like all of the sparrows in the neighborhood like teamed up to get rid of this owl.
Not my house.
But I didn't get a shot of the owl because like this all happened as soon as I got outside with the camera. But I still got to see the owls. That was pretty neat. Yeah.
They're very beautiful.
Yeah, we like owls. Even though great horned owls, after humans, are the species that kills the most American crows. So I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, I'll give you some mixed feelings.
But, at least they're better than bees, because bees sting. Oh, hey, we're talking about the sting today. We've already talked about the sting. What a movie this was. Suzy?
What was a segue? Sorry.
Hey, look,
that got me.
We're known for great segues here. Suzy,
we're so fantastic for segues, guys.
There are so many movies on this list, but unfortunately, I had already seen the movie Chicken Run, so that you had to do this movie. Why'd you pick this movie?
I have a question for you first that I think would be a great lead up to this. Did you expect me? Would you expect me to pick a movie like this?
Nah, honestly, no. No, I was a little surprised that this is a movie that you picked, knowing you. But
I'm gonna say yes. But I also have a little bit more of an insight into your non Silkie life than most people here. So I might be the outlier in being able to be like, yeah, this is a movie that I could see Suzy choosing.
Look, people like what they like, and sometimes people like things that you would not necessarily expect them to like. That's perfectly acceptable. When it comes to media, whether it be books, movies, TV shows, music, people are gonna like surprising things. And that's you can't judge a book by its cover.
So when it comes to picking this movie, what's funny is in my own life, I don't watch a lot of movies either, but baby Suzy, I had to be like, I don't know, 9 or 10. I was at my grandparents' house and somebody put this movie on, and I'm just like, oh, whatever, I don't really like old movies, it's not a cartoon. And I just found myself so enthralled with it, like I couldn't stop watching it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a live action movie. It's an old movie, which I feel like when you're a kid, part of your brain is like, it's an old movie. And I just watched the whole thing, and ever since, like, I made sure to figure out what the movie's title was because it was back on the TV and it didn't like tell you. And I just remembered it. Stuck with me.
It's called Festing.
Festing?
Festing.
Like thespian?
Festing. Thesting. Festing.
I that feels made up.
No, let's bring up the movie poster right now. Clearly, you can see the title is Festing. Festing.
Wrong.
Festing.
Don't do that to this movie. It's too good for that.
I think you need to go on a nice long vacation. Maybe one where you're.
I did. I went to Florida like less than a month ago. But anyway, yes, this is an interesting movie, and not only is this an old movie, but this is an old movie that was trying to be what was considered an old movie at the time. This was a movie made in the 1970s, but very much made in the style of the time period it takes place in the 1930s. Like, the way that they did framing and shots of it, the dialogue, the cinematography, and the music. I mean, this is a movie that was a love letter to film of the 1930s, and, you know, very much movies closer to its time period than it is to now. Yes, that's true, because it's like if they would have made a remake. Yeah, it's like they could have made a remake of The Sting that takes place in the 1970s, and they would have made it in, 2003. But yes, it was really interesting how they went about it, and the movie felt like a love letter to classic old Hollywood cinema. Like every single bit of it, the homages were just constant. The way they did everything. As Dre was mentioning before, how it's just like this is all mostly done on a sound stage. And I mean, my God, you look at the sets on here and you're like, this was just a sound stage that was built. I mean, incredible set design. Knowing how it was made and how it came about. The technical skill that was required to do all that is, I mean, that's his chef's kiss.
I feel like every time I watch it, it never fails to impress me with the level of detail in every single moment. Like you said, whether it's the set design or the costuming or the directing or how they're doing something, like every single time I watch it, I'm always just so impressed. I'm like, this was made at this time to this level of expertise.
Yeah. It's quite impressive. What do you think, Dre?
I had to rewatch it because the first time I watched this was actually back in high school because we were doing Guys and Dolls, and my teacher's like, we're gonna watch this. And anyone who's not familiar, Guys and Dolls is a much the same kind of vein of casinos as and mobsters as like the one Ben Tai chose.
Casino. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna walk myself off stage. It was nice talking to everybody. And this movie, and we used it a little bit for costume design. We used it for a little bit of ideas for set design. We really just used it as a research piece. And I gotta say, just because of that alone, it brings up a lot of good, like, happy memories. You know, the last time I can remember doing a project where I was involved in every bit of it. And it just rewatching it now, and I'm an adult, and going back to the CGI talk and seeing how much we've abandoned kind of the idea of set design, right? In the entire picture set on, like, shot at a set, right? That's not just green screens with stuff added in, right? It makes me happy, right? It brings me joy. There's definitely shots of this, so I'm like, wow, this is very boring. There's no action going on. And then I remember how god-awful movie industry now has my brain rattled into fast-paced everything, right? Yeah, I mean...
I think that's one of my favorite things about this movie.
It does. I mean, it definitely is slower paced and definitely of its time. But I have to say that, the plot was not super difficult to follow. You understood the characters and their motivations, and just the way that everybody was playing each other the whole time, and yeah, it was really interesting. Okay, Hasio, you're saying the Sting would be half the movie instead of the last 10 minutes. No, the Sting was the majority of this movie, But you just saw how they had to set up A, to set up B, to set up C, to set up D, to set up E for the final payoff F. It's just like they thought they were thinking 20 steps ahead the whole time. Like, I really liked the poker scene. Poker scene was great, where it's like, the boss is going to cheat because they've established he's going to cheat, and then you see him get the 4 threes. And then you see the cheat lay down the 4 nines, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I've got 4 jacks." And like, "I gave you 4 threes. How does that happen?" Like, cheating the cheat. And then also the fact that they know that he couldn't call them out on cheating, because in order to call him out on cheating, he would have to reveal that he was a cheater as well. And like,
exactly.
It's such a good plot point too. It's fantastic. It feels like if. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's half the actual technical expertise, but I think the part that a lot of more modern movies might forget is the other half is like the ego of who's sitting across the table. And I think that's one of my favorite things, where as much as it is like a technical expertise of setting up the sting, it's also like a psychological knowing your enemy, your target, and working around that way.
Oh, I mean, especially when it comes to poker, like, look, I was in college in 2003. That was the height of the poker boom. What do you think was going on in every single dorm room for most of my college years? We were playing poker. And when you start play poker with the same people over and over, God, there was this one guy who was the most arrogant son of a bitch we ever knew. He thought he was the best poker player in the world. The thing is, me and a couple other guys knew exactly how he played. And playing to his ego and playing to like stuff like that was the key to cleaning that guy out.
That's fucking hilarious, actually.
Yeah. It was great. I was happy to take that guy's money. I mean, which I didn't always take his money, because, poker is still, it's a game of skill, but there's also some luck involved, But, I mean, that's why I always appreciate a good poker scene in movies. Even though this movie got one of the poker rules wrong, but of course, it is not technical rule. The rule being when somebody's like, "I raise 500," and the next person says, "I call, and I raise you 300. Okay, well, you can't do that. There's actually 2 faux pas in them doing that. One, you can't say "I call" and then "I raise." That's what we call a string bet, where you say part of it and then pause and say the other half of it. You can't do that because it gives you you can see how somebody reacts when you say part of it, and then change your bet by saying, so you could say like, "I call," see how they react, and then choose based on they react if you want to raise or just leave it as a call. You're not allowed to do that. You can't just say "I call" and then "I raise." You have to just say "I raise." The next is that he raised 300 after a bet of 500. Sorry, if you're going to raise somebody, your raise has to be at least as much as they originally bet. So, sorry, this movie got poker wrong. It's an F-, painful tier. We're done here.
No!
I'm kidding.
I'll never live this down for liking this movie.
Look,
I don't know how to
don't
play
get
poker,
me,
so I'm
dude,
just as impressed.
Don't get me started on the poker scene in Casino Royale. My God, the shit that... I mean, they stay mostly accurate with the poker rules in that movie, but it's so fucking ridiculous.
It's my favorite part of that in Casino Royale, off topic, I know, a little bit, is when they're like, "But I poisoned you. Surely, Mr. Bond, you know how to live." And it cuts to him taking a shit ton of salt to give himself a heart attack to avoid the poison, if I remember correctly, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to break that down medically.
Yeah, I even when I was watching, like, this doesn't seem medically accurate.
Look, this is kind of on topic because this is a period piece. I thought the Daniel Craig Bond movies were fine. I enjoyed them, but I think they're all kind of forgettable. I don't remember. I know I've seen Quantum of Solace. I couldn't tell you a goddamn thing that happens in that entire movie. I think
sad the whole time.
I think that the James Bond franchise went the darker, serious, realistic route, which happened in the, mid to late 2000s, because it was a few years after a different franchise came out that made the Bond people feel like they had to go dark and serious, and that other franchise was Austin Powers. And they said, we cannot have Bond be anything like Austin Powers. We need to make it as far from Austin Powers as we possibly can. And that's why we got these dark, serious Bond movies. I think enough time has passed now. I want the next James Bond movies to be wacky, completely campy, and take place in the 1960s.
I want the next Bond movies to be like this movie. Because I feel like...
Yes! Like, it needs to be a period
this movie
piece.
Isn't even...
James
It's
Bond...
not even...
Sorry.
Like, I feel like this movie doesn't take itself too seriously.
No.
Like, it's definitely a serious movie in, like, the storytelling and how it goes about things. But it's a movie that lets the character breathe with their own tone, if that makes sense.
With this movie, they went out to have fun. This was a fun movie. Now, here's the thing. There was... This movie was nominated for 10 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. There was another movie that came out the same year that also had 10 Academy Award nominations. And that movie was a little movie called The Exorcist.
Oh.
So this movie and The Exorcist were the two big favorites going into the Oscars. And this movie did a little bit better. And it ended up winning the Best Picture. And they're saying that in 1973, there was, things were not the best in the United States. There was a few scandals involving this guy who was kind of a dick. And I mean that literally. The prices were going... Like, 1973 was a tumultuous time. And people wanted just a good, simple, fun movie. And this movie delivered exactly what the American public needed. A good time with good classic cinema. You know what I mean?
Plus, Paul Newman's very pretty.
Paul Newman's eyes. I mean, you could get lost in those eyes, baby.
I did multiple times.
Yeah. I thought Robert Redford was okay. I think he was perfectly serviceable. But I don't know. I feel like... I don't know. It's just like... I wasn't really sure what to think of the character of Hooker. I feel like... I don't know. I feel like... I don't know. I wanted a little bit more out of that character. I thought he was fine. I don't have any real complaints, but, like, I can't say that, like, I have a complaint that I can really, have... I can't articulate it, is what I'm trying to say.
You kind of feel like he was maybe more of, like, a plot-pushing character than his own, like, developed character.
Yeah, I wanted more from him. I wanted more charisma. I wanted to like the character more, and I just... Like, I didn't hate him, but I wanted more. Does that make sense?
I feel like I can go the same way, where I kind of wanted a little more substance, but either way, because, like, in the beginning, it was kind of pushing, like, his gambling habit, and that only came up like maybe one or two other times, but it wasn't really. It seemed like a plot thing versus a character thing. Like a means to get to the story part. Right. Which I understand, but I think you can develop it more.
Jeez, blowing $3,000 on a roulette wheel, that'd be a lot of money to lose on a single spin now. That'd be a lot of money to lose right now, but I think Bentai was saying that that's something like $60,000 or something.
Yeah, back in that day.
It was a lot. I think what we say is like the $15,000 was the equivalent to $275. So... Which, if that's the case, then the $500,000 that's lost at the end of this movie, that's, oof.
That's an oof a lot of money, buddy.
That's a oof a lot of money. Even a big mob boss is going to feel that. It's going to sting. I'm sorry.
Wait.
No, you're not.
I'm not sorry. I will never be sorry for a pun. But I have to say... my favorite character, and I thought the best performance in the movie by far, was Robert Shaw. Robert Shaw as the boss was so good. He was so good.
Did you hear his accent slipping?
Oh, constantly, but I don't care.
I loved it.
I don't care about accent slipping. He was just so delightful. He was...
It never bothered me, but I'm always like, oh, there it is.
It's just, When we were talking about doing accents for some of the characters in Guys and Dolls, that was one of my teachers like, unless you can actually guarantee the accent throughout the entire show, don't do it. I was like, why? And then she kept pointing out every time when someone was like that, don't do that, don't do that,
Yep.
don't do that, don't do that. It's fucking hysterical.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to maintain a voice for the whole time. How many times have I come in doing the Corvy's Twig voice, and then I end up talking like this later in the show? It's like, you know, it's hard to maintain a voice.
It's weak.
Sweet.
A tweak.
My true voice sounds like this.
That's why you just commit to multiple voices for funsies.
I am a voice actor. I do all sorts of voices, you know. Name a voice, I can do it.
Drink some water.
Oh, sorry, gotta drink some voice. Oh, you? Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Suzy. This is my art today. We're drawing a chicken.
You're making Suzy sound so fucking sad.
Hi, you guys. I'm Suzy.
Look.
I'm a
Hi.
fluffy, silky chicken.
Do a Kyoko. Look, I'm
Hello,
not.
friends.
Yeah. It's fun doing voices, but yes, it's hard to maintain it.
It is.
It's hard to maintain it. But I don't care that Robert Shaw's.
D&D for 5 hours and then you're good.
I don't care that Robert Shaw's voice slipped. I thought he was delightful, and he was fun every time he was on screen, and I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was cool that we got James Earl Jones' dad in this movie.
I didn't realize that until we were watching the movie, and I'm like, that's why he sounds so familiar.
Yeah, I didn't put 2 and 2 together until like today. Basically, I was like, oh, that's the guy.
Yeah, I was sad to see him die, at the end of the first act.
I was really sad that he died so soon, because again, that felt like more of a plot point. With, again, I get you need to have it started, but I wish I could have seen a little bit more character development, because it sounded like he had a really strong backstory.
Yeah.
But again, this was already a 2-hour movie. You know what I mean?
We don't need to know about everybody's problems,
About that Bechdel test. Oh no, it failed it hard. There were 3 women in this movie with speaking roles, maybe 4, and none of them definitely talk to each other.
Yeah, it's not that great.
So yeah, we've got James Earl Jones's dad's wife. We got the lady who works the diner that ended up being an assassin. There's the date. There's the date, and then there's that
Selena and Barnes.
What?
Selena and Barnes?
I don't know. I don't remember.
There's an old lawyer firm near my college that called Selena and Barnes.
Oh no, the assassin's name. Her name was Selena.
Okay.
Yeah. But it like triggered the memory because they used to run like ad campaigns anytime.
The Echolalia got you.
The Echolalia got me, but they would run ad campaigns when college students would come back because the amount of car accidents that would happen as kids were coming back to college and going from college would skyrocket. So it's just it's like J.G. Wentworth. It's just ingrained in my memory.
No, why'd you have to say that?
J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now. It's my money, and I want it now.
I'm leaving.
It's like, sure, we'll give you money now. We'll give you 20% of the money that you're totally owed, and then we get the other 80%. But you get it now.
Horrible.
Yeah. Whatever. Don't do that. If you got a structured settlement, keep those payments. And there's probably better ways to get it as a lump sum, but yeah. That's the thing is people, that delayed gratification, they'd rather take $500 now than $2,000 over a course of time or something,
$2,000 over the course of my life is not a lot of money per day.
Well, I guess the people say okay, would you like $500 now or $200 a month for the next 10 months, I don't know. something like that. Nice.
Nice.
People will take the lump sum up. Which, if you're doing the lottery, yes, take the lump sum up better, because with investments and even low risk ones, you can end up making more money in the long term with than getting the structured payments. But that's neither here nor there. That's not the gambling we're talking about. We're talking about horse racing. Horse racing. Okay, so the main sting of this movie was something that I saw in another piece of media, in which Peggy Hill tried to pull that exact same heist on a fake professor voiced by Jeff Goldblum in an episode of King of the Hill. Like,
oh my gosh.
Literally rigged races at the track, letting him win a few smaller bets before hoping that he'll make the big bet on the last race. But then in the episode, he sees right through it, wins the two smaller bets, and then just says, "All right, no, I don't want to be greedy. I'm leaving."
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, yeah, the exact same plot was in an episode of King of the Hill, and obviously it turned out a little bit different. Of course, it has to. But yeah, the thing is just like, there's so many things are in this movie, and it's just like, oh, so that's where they got it from. Oh, so that's where they got it from. Oh, so that's where they got it from. It's like, God, this movie was influential. Like,
oh yeah, 100%. Oh
yeah, I mean, with poker scenes.
Another thing that I really enjoy about this movie is, compared to like these kind of movies nowadays, it kind of has, in my opinion, like a narrower focus. Like from when it comes to the audience point of view, like there's a lot of things that the audience isn't told, and in my mind it kind of comes off as we're almost in the perspective of like Robert Redford's character a little bit, where we don't know all the extra thing that Paul Newman's character is doing behind the scenes that kind of turn up in the end, and I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, like the whole thing with all the FBI guys. I thought they were FBI guys.
When I rewatched it, like decade later after I initially watched it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot the FBI was in this. And I was like following along the whole time. And then at the very end, I'm like, it was them all along.
They're not the F, the B, or the I.
They F'd it in the B, what?
No!
Yeah, but the thing is having those FBI guys are so crucial to the plan, because that makes Robert Shaw all like, oh, well, I got ripped off, this didn't work out, but now he can't go after the guys who took his money because he thinks they're both dead. So having them
exactly
like, it was such a brilliant way to twist it up, because it's like, okay, you're going to rip this guy off, but you think he's just going to take getting ripped off for $500,000 sitting still? No, he's going to come after you. But if
they have the insurance of the actual police officer who believed the FBI agents that weren't FBI agents, so they have that extra bit of insurance that they have so much more working time to get themselves out of there and dispersed with the money, which I just thought was so smart.
Yeah.
Like the follow through that you have to plan for that, which I feel like I don't usually see in newer heist movies. They have an exit plan. That's not just, oh, they disappear. It's like, oh no, that's actually like lasting.
Yeah. But of course, then there's the thing that I think was the most unrealistic thing in this entire movie. And it's at the end when they're like, all right, Hooker, stick around. We'll give you your cut. Nah, I'll pass. I would just waste it. Fucking, he would not have passed on that money. He would have taken that money. Yeah, he probably would have blown
I don't think
it.
He passed.
No, he's like, I don't want the money. He didn't want his cut.
I thought he was just not collecting it. I thought he said he was going to collect it later.
No, he straight up
saying you want.
He straight up turns down his cut. He says, nah, forget it. I would just blow it anyway. And then he leaves. He specifically says that he does.
Because I could have sworn that it was just he was going to pick it up later. Like he didn't want to take it now.
No, I think he was turning down his cut entirely. Am I right here, people? Come on, chat. I'm right here, right? Because he even said, "Don't give it to me. I'm just going to blow it."
I thought he was talking about the.
Go ahead.
I was just reiterating my point. You go.
Bentai says.
No. I want to know what your point is before I continue.
I thought he was saying, because they said, oh, when they're clearing up, he says something along the lines of, okay, meet ever meet us down at so and so's place to get your cut. He's like saying that to everyone working as they're starting to clean, and then I think he offers it to Hooker right away because he's like the main con man. And I thought Hooker was saying, I'm not going to take it right now, I'm too like, I would just spend it all, but I thought he was going to pick it up later.
No, I think Newman was saying to Redford, hey, you're going to meet us to get your cut. And then he definitely turned down his cut, saying that he was just going to waste it.
That kind of changes my opinion on this movie a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. It's an out of character thing, I think, at the end of the movie, but I think it's a minor nitpick. But there is one thing I wanted to say that I kind of noticed about this movie that I felt like, we talk about this as an homage to old Hollywood, and I feel like there was an aspect of this that very much felt like an homage to old Hollywood, and that what the characters were doing is the same thing that the movie creators were doing, and that they were quickly having to build and take down sets. They were creating sets in this movie. Like, the horse racing parlor in the movie is a set. It's not a real horse racing parlor. It was a set that they had people, and you see the construction workers and the people building the sets to set up the heist. And it's just like, it felt like them doing that was kind of a little bit of a commentary and wink to how the behind the scenes people were building sets for the movie itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that end. Yeah.
I think that was
like
an intentional meta thing,
I was gonna say, that's pretty meta of them if that was the case.
Pretty meta of these guys.
Yeah. I don't know if that was intentional, but I'm gonna say it probably was, because with how smart this movie is. And then, oh God, then can we talk about the score? Can we talk about the score? It's like, all right, we're gonna have a lot of silence, which Bentai mentioned is a great thing, and I kind of agree with. I liked that a lot of this just let the movie be silent for a lot of it. But then you had ragtime music, and there's a chase scene with one guy running for his life, and we have the jauntiest, silliest little ragtime tune playing in the background, and I'm like, what is going on?
I kind of loved it. I feel like that's part of the reason why I'm like, this movie has a serious tone, but it didn't take itself seriously.
Oh, this movie,
it was so funny.
This movie wasn't trying to be a dark, serious thing. This is just a fun heist movie. That's what their goal was. Have some fun with it, tell a story, and show a successful heist. So Sean Connery's pulling off a successful heist. I mean, geez, how much do you think that the creators of a previous Twigs Missing movie, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, how much you think the writers and creators of that movie watched this movie? Because, boy, you can see the lifeblood in there. I mean, you literally... Like, you even have, like, the more experienced old huckster and the younger, new, upcoming huckster. Like, it's so... Like, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels almost feels like... I mean, it's not a remake of this, but it's like... You can see... Almost. You can see the... Yeah, definitely an homage to it, for sure.
Do you think when it comes to the score that the limited use of music in the film kind of ties back to older filmmaking? Do you think that was intentional?
No, probably. Absolutely.
Because it was very limited and very, like, sporadic.
Yeah, I mean, then, within a scene, you had hard cuts. But whenever they were transferring from scene to scene, you would have like a wipe or a splat, some sort of scene transition kind of fun stuff. And then you also had the little title cards. There was like 4 or 5 title cards throughout the movie as well. That were so fun. So I wish that I could have had the time. For our technical difficulties that we had earlier, I would have loved if I could have made a title card that looked like one of their title cards, but I didn't have the time to art that up. Would have been great. But just pretend that I did that and be like, "That's brilliant, Twig."
I saw that. I saw the inspiration. I saw it.
I saw it. yeah, just, I mean, and again, we've got to talk about the set design. It was so good. The costume design felt right on. I mean, everybody wearing those sharp suits and hats, and I mean, it's just like the thing is like if I was super nitpicky, if I was going to do full Neil deGrasse Tyson on this, yeah, there's probably a lot of things that are not fully accurate, but the things that aren't accurate don't matter. It doesn't matter. But I guess, like I said, if I had to say my biggest thing that I wanted more out of this film is I just wanted to get a little more character and a little more oomph out of, I think, both Paul Newman and Robert Redford. I mean, Paul Newman was cool as a cat, but and I think he definitely shined great. I just wanted a little more out of Robert Redford. Other than that, I would say the acting in this movie was fun and good. It definitely caught me on a few twists. I wasn't expecting the diner lady to be an assassin and then just have her suddenly be shot as she's walking up. I'm like, what the fuck?
That actually makes me so happy that you say that, because I'm one of those people that I'll watch a movie and doesn't matter how obvious it is. I won't see it. I never see it coming. And to hear that you didn't see it coming, I'm like, okay, that means it's a really good one.
Yeah. And then the FBI twist at the end, another I did. So, I mean, those are probably two biggest twists in the movie that I didn't see coming. Something we were talking about when we were watching, though, with that diner lady, though, is that, God, we want to go to that diner and get the blue plate special.
No, they said the blue plate special was bad.
The blue plate special was bad?
I didn't like it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I want to go to a better diner that has a better blue plate special.
Well, it might just be bad because she's an assassin and not a cook, so.
It could be true. I mean, just go.
Entirely possible, you know?
You know what, TwigCon, hopefully we can make it to Mickey's Diner. I mean, even try to make it to Mickey's Diner. It's a classic Minnesota diner. As seen in the movie Mighty Ducks 2. It's like literally...
Minnesota Diner.
Mickey's Diner is literally like a little... Like, it's made out of like a train car. And you like go inside and it's got
I think I've heard of that before.
The little booths and like the sit down counter with the old classic stools. Has a maximum capacity of like 30 people. Mickey's Diner has absolutely been on Food Network multiple times.
I think I've seen that then.
Yeah. Mickey's Diner, St. Paul classic. St. Paul, also a city quite known for its gangsters and mobster history. People always think it's Chicago, but no, St. Paul had some real good stuff going on.
Real good stuff, aka murder.
Yeah. Oh, got to take the tour. Well, we might be going on a tour of the Wabasha Street Caves, which was a mobster hideout in the 1930s and supposedly the most haunted place in the state of Minnesota.
I see.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're going there,
Spooky.
probably.
Wow. I think this movie is fantastic, but I believe we have some predictions we have to go over.
We do have some predictions to go over. So, neither of the main characters are a law enforcement officer. That's true. That's true. It wasn't... The sting was not a police sting. Got that right. The titular sting is them putting together a heist to rip off a mob business. Yeah? Pretty much. I mean, it's more the boss himself than the business, but the boss is the business.
I think that's fair.
Unless you want to say this is yellow because they're more just trying to rip off the boss and not try and take down his operation necessarily. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that depends on your intention when you wrote it.
I have to go back from what my intention was when I wrote it. I was kind of more thinking that, like, they had, like, a front and they were going to try and rip off the business front rather than just getting money straight out of the guy. So I'm going to give myself a yellow on this one. I'm going to be honest. I know what my intentions were, and I don't think I was fully there. One of the members of the crew is going to be an inside man with the mob. No, not really.
Yeah, I don't think anyone. Yeah, nobody was on.
No, none of them were.
Side.
Yeah, he pretended to be, but that pretending to be on their side is not being on their side.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's a tricky one. One member of the crew dies during the heist. I think I have to give myself a red because James Earl Jones's dad doesn't die during the heist. His death is kind of what spurred them on to do the heist.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so I don't I don't think I can give myself any points on that one. We don't learn how the heist is going down until we see it go down successfully. Yeah, I got that one right. And then Mob Boss gets arrested and business shut down by the police. No, that didn't really happen. Like, the real cop escorted him out of there, but I don't think he didn't arrest him, right? He was just getting him out of there, right?
No. Yeah, it was just getting him out because the FBI agents were like, there's a bigwig in there and you need to get him out because we don't want the news getting a hold of this. So
yeah,
the police agent is like, we have to leave now.
Yeah, so he got him out of there, but not in handcuffs. And yeah, so 2.5 out of 6, not a great score. I figure if I get 50% or greater, that's a passing grade. So I'm afraid I failed on this one. But still interesting to see the thought
when you get to see the twisting of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, if I get nothing but green across the board, that's not me being brilliant. Yeah, that's not me being prescient. That's the movie being predictable. The movie that I got the most right on was Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, so like I said, me getting a lot right doesn't necessarily mean it's a good movie. So
yeah, I think that movies can be predictable but good, but I don't know if it's necessarily like the other way around, if that makes sense.
All I'm saying is that, like, if a movie's plot is predictable and a little bit cliche, you can get away with that if you have really good characters. Really good characters, I think, are the thing that is the most important thing for any of a movie. The plot could be boring and low stakes, and I don't care, because if I like seeing the characters and I like how the characters interact and I like what they say, then the plot doesn't matter that much. I'm just being entertained by watching these cool people. So, you know. So, yeah. I'm okay with getting 2.5 out of 6 on this one. I'm okay. But now, the real question. Where does it go?
I've been waiting for this.
It's actually, yeah, because you've heard me talk about this movie, and you know that I've said pretty across the board, mostly positive things. But I have to think about how entertained I was watching the movie, and I would say for the most part, I appreciate this movie. I appreciate what it was for its time. I appreciate what it did. I appreciate the artistry behind it. I appreciate, just the meta parts of it. I mean, the set design, like, I appreciate the hell out of this movie. But I have to admit, there were some parts of the movie I found myself getting a little bored. And I think that is the worst thing a movie can be. It's boring. But that being said, I think the things that this movie did well more than made up for that. And I think this is a movie that you should see. So I definitely say, yes, I recommend this movie. I think you should watch it. But in the end, I'm just going to be putting it in the I enjoyed it tier. It's not a movie that I feel like I need to watch again and again. If I only watch it the one time, I think I'd be okay with that. But I'm really, really glad that I did watch it. And like I said, I appreciate this movie a ton. But like I said, there were some parts of it where I was kind of bored, and that's the worst thing a movie can do.
I want to hear, if we have time, what parts you thought were boring.
Just a lot of the times where they were just sitting around talking and there was dialogue. I actually felt like a lot of the scenes when you first meet the FBI agents were a little boring. Just a lot of the scenes where they're just sitting there talking. It's just like, okay, get to the point. I mean, the dialogue was good, but it just, I don't know. For the most part, I thought it was good, but they just, like I said, there was just a few times where I was feeling boring, and I wish if the movie, I think, was 20 minutes shorter, it'd be better.
Yeah, I think I
could. They would cut.
I think there's some conversational pieces that could be cut out, and you wouldn't miss a whole lot. Or you could have sped them up or pulled them up into like a bigger conversation. I feel like there are a lot of little conversations that happened that ate up a lot of the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I enjoyed it. Would recommend, but I'm not. For me, it's not enough for the great movies tier. Even like I said, I appreciate this movie way more than I would say I like this movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, yeah. I know where you're coming from with this, so you don't have to justify yourself to me.
Explain yourself. This is not acceptable.
Oh, never mind.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
It's one of those movies that's like just. I think that I like the little quiet moments, but that's definitely an opinion thing. Because I feel like a lot of the movies nowadays are so get every single wring out every single bit of everything in every single moment. I think I kind of like the little bit of like quieter sections.
I said I can understand wanting a movie to slow down a little bit. I mean, like, yeah, movies these days are made for people with ADHD. You know.
Hey,
I know. Present company included. Hey, ADHD is a spectrum disorder that has a lot of different aspects to it. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Too much too fast with some movies these days. Some movies need a little time to breathe. I get it. 3-hour superhero movies.
Oh. I can't do it, man. I really can't.
I swear to God, if anybody ever picks Lawrence of Arabia, I might have to just veto it.
It's on the list, dude.
It's true. It is on the list.
You have to.
But yeah,
you're obligated to.
That's where I put it. I enjoyed it. What more can I say?
You liked it.
What more can I say? Like I said, I would recommend it. If you haven't seen the movie, watch it. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Bentai or Hasio. Yes. But yeah. Really don't have too much more to say. You know. So thanks for picking the movie.
Thanks for coming on, Suzy.
Thanks for
hanging out with us and making us watch this movie.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad I got to watch it again. It's been a while since I've watched it, and it's one of those things where I still kind of forgot some of the twists again. And like, it got me again.
That son of a bitch. They got me again.
Every time I watch this movie, that's what happens. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, and if you liked me and Suzy hanging out, we got a couple recent episodes of Corvid's Creepers and Conspiracies that you should go watch.
They're very good.
And
very good.
And I hope Suzy will be on again soon because I love doing that show.
I love those, honestly.
Good.
Honestly, they're very fun.
Yeah.
Chat loves them.
Yeah, and if you're watching this and you're a VTuber, we'd love to have you on. Just reach out to me or Dreyfrig.
Mm-hmm.
Or reach out to Suzy, who will put us in touch.
We'll give you the list. You choose the movie. We watch the movie. We talk shit. We shoot the shit. That's what I meant to say.
We talk shit.
We talk shit.
We talk the shit.
Oh,
we shoot the
I
talk.
did a swear. My bad.
Oh no, it's Suzy doing a swear. We don't allow Suzy to swear. You're too wholesome and.
I don't cast such aspersions or expectations. You can cuss as much as you want, Suzy. This is a safe space.
It is.
That just makes me want to cuss more, but I will refrain.
Well, swears are fine. Swears are fine. Slurs are not.
It's really funny. To me, it's funnier when somebody that doesn't swear just swears like one time, because I feel like that's way more hilarious than someone that swears all the time.
Okay, well, yes. We can keep talking, but we do have to end the stream.
We do have to end the stream. Anything else either of you want to plug?
No, I'm good for right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna get baby chickens next week.
Baby chickens!
Wait,
oh yeah, baby chicken.
That's all.
All right, everybody have a May the 4th be with you, and have a happy Cinco de Mayo. Also, please like and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye. I'm the only one who ever dances here.
Are we singing songs?
Because there's music.